Noise in the background. All right. Ooh, what do we got here? That's good to go. Apple user, good afternoon, good afternoon. This, not that, and that we want that way, that we want that way. Sarah, good evening. Old dog, what's happening there, old dog? Getting ready to get YouTube rolling. Okay, rolling, and rolling. All ready to go. Alrighty. Joseph, what's happening? Mark, Ricky, good afternoon, good afternoon. Kevin, William, Mookin, Nail, afternoon, Nail, Benjamin, Jay, Megan, old dog, Gannett, what's happening, Gannett, Jacob, Megan, good evening. Genevieve, good evening, Genevieve. Island Girl, One Way to a Million. Interesting. Mike in Love, how's it going there, Mikey? All right, let's get ready to roll tonight. Today. What is today? Today. Now that's interesting. Got to figure out how that damn thing works. Got some new software. No, hardware. New hardware. Got to figure out how it works because I just don't know. Anyway, that being said, hey, Doc's in the house. 3A Ghost, what's happening? Randolph, what's going on? Uncle Ted Dude, what's happening? Maldo, Food and Agri-Guru, Cool Beans. Alrighty, well, let's get that done out of the way. Good evening, everyone. My name is James. This is Dividend Stock Talk, brought to you by the 10-Minute Trader. Let's get that done out of the way. Good evening, everyone. My name is James. This is Dividend Stock Talk, brought to you by Invest in Dividend Stock. Let's get rolling. We got Riot up, so why don't we take a good look at Riot? Let me get out of this thing first. All right. Let's take a gander at Riot, considering we already have it up. Okay, take a quick gander at it. You ready? Here we go. First of all, when I look at a chart, I'm looking for 5 things. The high, the low, where was it, where is it? I'm going to show you. Hold on a second. High, low, where was it, where is it, and what direction is it going? Up, down, up, down, up. Simple to see, right? So now we got an idea of what direction it's flowing. Let's check out the numbers and see if the numbers are going to work for us. Well, currently the stock price is $9.50. So if I buy it tomorrow morning at $9.50, I could sell it to someone else at $9.50 and pick up 22 cents a share. Now, I know that doesn't sound like a lot to you. Wait a second. Yeah, that doesn't sound like a lot to you, but $22.50, okay, on a $9 stock, that's just over 2.5%. Now, if you can get 2.5% every single week, why wouldn't you? I mean, think about it, Stephen, Stone, Marco Polo. Who else do we have here? My Shadow, good evening. Bridger, good evening. Mark, on the second YouTube feed, we don't see the screen. Uh-oh. Thank you for that. Display. Thank you for that. Thank you, thank you. It does get away from me once in a while. And there you have it. That should be it. Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. All right. Mason, can you say happy birthday to my friend? His name is Nick Gers. Nick Gers. Okay. That's funny. Live like this. Come 1 or 2. Whole YouTube is full of church leaning and Christianity. Okay, great, great, wonderful. Jacob, how do you get 0.22? Don't you have to hold dividends past the EX date? Now, Jacob, that's a good question. Let me address this question for you. Simone is in the house. Okay, so Jason, now you're thinking of a dividend. And yes, you would be correct. Collecting the dividend, you have to wait after the EX date. Also, the date of record before you get your dividend. Because there's 4 dates. Announcement date, EX date, date of record, and payment date. So what you're thinking of is the dividend itself. What I'm talking about is the premium on the strike call. Now let me explain it to you just briefly. We got a couple of questions over here. Jim, what happens when dividend is cut by 60%? Should you sell? Jim, it would really depend on what stock it is we're talking about. Okay, because some companies, I don't see why they would cut their dividends by that much. That's a huge market. Hold on. Bro just said the N word. No, I didn't. U.S. market view, why did you fall for day? Why did you fall for day? I don't have any idea. Yeah, whatever. All right. What is a good startup stock in the AI industry? Daniel, you're asking me the wrong question. I don't do those kind of stocks. Mark, can you check Kohl's? It dropped 2.5% today. If next Monday I sell a covered call for $8.50 above your price, I will make less than 0.5%. Is there a better way? Yes, there is. Sit tight. Look for a startup with the most PhD hires. Thanks, Shudo. Shudo. You said the N-word. No, I didn't. Rewind it and listen to it again. How's Pepsi doing? Let's take a quick gander at Pepsi. Uh-oh. All right, so I got to answer Jacob's question. Thank you, Shudo. Everyone, ADLP should buy, yeah. What do you prefer, cookie dough or dildo? Wow. We're really dropping down our IQ level, ain't we? Kind of curious how those guys got here. Well, let's keep on going. That being said, Riot, here's our top, here's the bottom, here's where it was, here's where it is. I'm currently at $9.50. If I buy it tomorrow at $9.50, sell somebody the rights to buy it from me at $9.50 and pick up 22 cents a share. 22 cents a share is just shy of 3%. Well, I'm pretty much okay with that. Yeah. They're just trolling. Yep, I get that. Shoo-doo. Kind of a joke on my part, but also pretty serious. Startup with a small people tends to do well. The idea is an obvious technical application of AI. Yeah, that doesn't work. Aaron, that doesn't mean anything. I was just reading your shirt backwards. Alrighty then. Alrighty. Okay, interesting. Are you doing an option trade today? Jacob, yes, we will be doing an option trade today. All right, let's take a look at what we're doing. Okay, do I trade ODT? No, I don't. Chevron, we'll take a look at that in a minute. Right now, we're going to take a look at, well, we're still looking at Riot. If you like Riot, of course. Jacob, please don't do that. I appreciate it, Jacob, but stop doing that. Okay, so Riot, the high, the low, all kind of nice, neat stuff. The numbers even work. So let's actually do a sample covered call for those that are interested to see how it works. All right, so that being said, take a look at Riot. A year ago, Riot's sitting at 965. Well, they jump up to the top of the year at 1584. Okay, now that was back in the middle of November of last year. But from there, she drops down to the bottom of the year at 619. Now, it looks like we hit it 3 times. In April, 3 times in April, we hit this 619, which seems to be the bottom for the year. But look what happens from there. The middle of April, she shoots up, pulls back. Now we're 3 days to the upside. Well, if here's your profit from 629 to 629 to 9, it's a $3 increase, which is close to a 50% increase. Then you get your pullback here. Now she's going back up again. Well, I like 2 days to the upside. Okay, that was Monday and Tuesday. Well, look at today, Wednesday. Nice. And she's actually made a new 30-day high today, so I'm not quite sure if that's something you want to jump into or do you want to jump out of. Because from here to here, you got your profit taking. Come up with a new bottom here. Now she's going back up again. Well, it actually could happen. If, of course, you like Riot. Now, I already own it, so I have no intention of buying any more. Okay. All right. Mongoloid. What's happening, Mongoloid? Sober up. Nike. Let's take a look at Nike. NKE and Nike. Here we go. Check that out. Now, I'm always looking for the same 5 things anytime I look at the stock. The high, the low, where was it, where is it? Look at the motion. Down, sideways, down, and then up. Well, currently we're at 62.72. So I'm going to be looking at the 63s because that's going to be the closest to 62.72 purchase price. So the 63s are going 59 to 63. Not quite 1% for this week. But then think about it. There's only 2 days left. There's tomorrow and Friday. So usually, very rarely will you get a full 1% with 2 days left. So we're going to have to go look into next week's numbers because this week's numbers just ain't working. Well, what can you expect, which is 2 days? Okay, so next week's 63s are going for 122. Now, 122 is just tiny bit below 2%. Because 63 and 63 is going to be 126. Well, this is 122, so it's just a tiny bit below 2%. Well, fine, that works for me. Because if 2% is over 100, 2% a week is over 100% at the end of the year. Well, 2%, yeah, why not? If, of course, you like Nike. And that always comes to the case. Do I like this company? Well, it's paying good, but let's see if it's the right time to buy it based on the movement. Mikey G did VFC today. Mikey G, we'll take a look at that one. VFC. Okay, so Nike, a year ago, we opened up at 94.25. The top of the year, we hit it twice at 98.16, and that was back in a year ago. Well, from there, we dropped down to this training range, go sideways for almost the whole year. Find the bottom right here in April. The 10th of April, 52.24. Well, that's the bottom for Nike. Okay, here's the top, here's the bottom. Well, now it's going up ever so slowly, but still. A trend is a trend no matter how slow it may be. But it is. There's the top was here, fall down to the bottom. Now she's going up slowly. Okay? So she goes up here, pulls back a little bit, 3 days to the upside, 1, 2, 3, right there. Well, let's do a quick trade on Nike to see what it looks like. So that way you guys that are new can understand the numbers. And then, in a little bit, we're going to take a look at the 5 stocks that we picked on Monday. All right, so we're going to do the 63s. First, I want to do that. It's a covered stock. Then I want to look at that 63 right there. Now, I'm going to do just one contract. That way you can use some of that algebra that you learned in Mr. Smith's math class. All right, here we go. Here's the order right here. I always tell people to read it out loud to make sure you understand what it is you're doing. Buy one covered call of Nike, NKE, 100. That's the weekly. 13 June 25. Well, that doesn't expire this Friday. This one expires next Friday. Because with 2 days left of this week, there's not really a lot of money there to be had. So why bother? Just go to next week, pick up that 13 June 25, that's next Friday, the $63 call option against the Nike stock at the market to open. Now you're opening 2 orders, a stock order and an option order. Look at it this way. Stocks are usually traded in New York. Options are usually traded in Chicago. So 2 orders, 1 stock order, 1 option order. Now the difference between the two is you're buying the stock. And when you buy the stock, it is yours to do with as you please for however long you want to hold on to it. Now, you could sell it anytime you want as long as it's not encumbered by a covered call. What does that mean? It means if tomorrow morning I buy it at the current price and I sell a covered call against it, I can't sell it to someone else while I'll have a contract on it. So it's like I am going to sell it to someone else for the same price I paid for it, but they are going to give me money, and by them giving me money, I have to say, all right, well, let's see what happens until Friday. Because on Friday afternoon, that option's expired. So they either buy it from me between now and Friday afternoon, or they lose that money. It's actually that simple. So if I'm buying it at $62.77, or whatever the hell the price is, I want to sell it to someone else at 63. Got a small profit right there between the purchase price and the sale price. But I also get to pick up the premium, which in this case is $153 per contract. So 1 contract, the profit's $153. 2 contracts, what was that, $136, something like that. Well, each contract is worth about $153 per contract. It's one of the only trading strategies you know what your profit's going to be even before you do anything, because it sets it up right here. Now, I'm going to run through the numbers and see if they make sense, see what the rate of return is, and then if I like it, I will hit the button down here where it says send. See if I like it. Okay? So let's keep on keeping on. First thing we want to do, bring up our calculator. Maximum profit right here. 153. I want to take the 153, put it into the calculator first, because that's what the profit's going to be. So how do you tell what your rate of return is? Well, you take the rate of return, you get that by dividing the profit by the investment. Okay, so 153 is the profit. The investment for 100 shares of Nike is $6,147. Okay, that comes to 2.48%. That's almost 2.5% for 1 week. Well, not a full week. It's actually like 10 days, because you get 2 days this week and then the full 5 days next week. So you get about 10 days. Well, that's still not that bad. 2.4%. You can do that every single week, or you even get 1% every single week. That's over 50% per year. Why not? If it is a simple strategy, why not? That's a good question. Why not? All right, anyway. I'm going to write Nike down. What was that, 2.4? Alrighty. Mikey G did some VFC today. Mikey, let's take a look at VFC. VFC, VFC, tra-la-la, can't you see? VFC. Okay, VFC. Interesting. Now, it should take anywhere between 3 to 4 seconds to dissect a chart quickly. Okay, you don't need to go dive deep into it, check out every nook and cranny. Just look at the basics. The high, the low, where was it, where is it, and what direction is it flowing? Up, down, up, down. It's not that difficult to see if you look at the big picture. Okay, there's no reason for us to take a look, a small picture, dive in, take a look at the really intricate numbers until it passes the number test. What am I buying it for? What am I selling it for? Am I making my return that I'm looking for? Okay, the current price, $12.55. Well, if I buy it at $12.55, I sell somebody the right to buy it from me at $12.50. Okay, so for this week, I get 26 cents, which is 2%. For this week, it's 2 days left, 2% for this week. Next week, it's 42. Okay, that's a little over 3%. So do I do 2% this week, see what happens, and then Monday sell something else? Or do I just bypass this week and jump right over to next week? Because you got a choice. The $12.50 is paying 26 here, and the $12.50 here is paying 42. Well, this one's got 9 days, and this one only has 2. So that's where you got to decide. Which one do I want to do? Do I want to tie it up for 1 week or 2 weeks? Alrighty. A year ago, VFC's at 13.58. The high of the year, 28.97, and that was the end of January of this year. Well, she drops all the way down to 9.41, and that was in the first week of May. Well, from there, from the bottom of the year, 9.40, she jumps up to 15. Okay, so 9.40 to 15. Okay, that is about $5.50. $5.50 on a $9 stock is more than a 50% increase. Because it's not always about the movement. It's percentages. Because if I bought it at $9.50 and it jumped up to $15.50, that's a big jump. That's about a 50% jump. Well, that's nice. But take your profits and then the stock drops. That's just the way it happens. Okay, so we have a bottom here, Monday. Tuesday's higher, Wednesday's higher. Well, if tomorrow's higher, then it would be a good opportunity to jump in, because that would be day number 3 to the upside. All right, so let's take a look. What does the 12.50s for this week actually look like? Okay, so 12.50s for this week. One is the loneliest. Now, here we go. A V. Buy one VFC. Cover. One covered call VFC. 100s. That's the weeklies. 6 June 25. This thing is expiring in 2 days. 2 days. 12.50 call option against the stock at the market to open. So that means first thing in the morning, this is going to fill. And then I got 2 days for whoever bought the option from me to either take it away from me at $12.50, the predetermined price, or not. That's it. Either take it or you don't take it. It's as simple as that. But as long as the stock is a good company and they're consistently profitable, why not? I mean, think about it. That's what we're doing here. We're trying to find what companies are good for the long term. When I say long term, okay, me it's about 30 days. That's long term for me. But for you guys, that might be until retirement. That might be 5 years. That might be 10 years. It might be 20 years. Is this a company that you're willing to buy and hold on to for 20 years? And continually, every single week, write a covered call against it to bring in some extra money. Because, yeah, the company pays a decent dividend every 90 days, but it also has the opportunity to bring in cash flow every 7 days. Now that's amazing, and I'm surprised nobody besides me has come up with this idea. Investing for a weekly return, not a monthly, not a quarterly, not an annually, but every single week. Not a monthly, not a quarterly, not an annually, but every single week. So I don't know about you. Well, my bills come due sooner than that. And what about rate of return? Annualized rate of return. I think I only have one or two bills that I pay once a year. Other than that, everything comes due once a month. All right. Alrighty. So that is for this week. Look at the numbers. $22.50, and it's going to cost $1,200. Well, let's break out the calculator to find out exactly. Okay, user 4147. I only look at dividends. Well, dividends only pay once, either once a month or once every 90 days. Well, why not sell a weekly covered call against your position and pick up something every week? Because you don't have to sell it at the money. You can sell a couple strikes out, keep your stocks, but still bring in some profits. It's just, why don't people? Beyond me. It's a numbers game. So anyway, let's check out what the rate of return is for this position. For that, we take the calculator. $22.50 is the profit, and we got to divide it by, well, how much did 100 shares cost? Well, 1,228. And that comes to a grand total of 1.8%. And that's for 2 days. Can you imagine that 1.8% return for 2 days? But it always comes down to, do I like VFC? Is this a company I'm willing to buy and hold on to? Not just to grab a quick, couple of bucks profit, buy it, get a couple of dollars for the profit, and then get rid of it. That's not the intention, because you can be blinded, you can be blindsided, and then all of a sudden the stock drops 30, 40, 50%, and then you can't get the covered calls that you want to. You got to lower the strike price, which means you get a lower premium every week. It's still money coming in every single week, but don't buy a stock just because it has a good dividend or just because it has a good premium. Make sure it's a company you actually believe in and that you want to hold. Other than that, you're just gambling. See, if you're going to buy a company like VFC, buy it because you like it and you want to hold on to it, not just because you think it can make you a quick profit. Anyway, let's keep on moving on. Let's keep on keeping on.
Hey, James?
Yes.
I just looked at VFC, and it has 0 years of increasing dividends.
Okay.
I don't know if I would like it or not. I don't think so.
How many years was that?
0.
They don't have any dividends at all?
So they have dividends, but no increasing dividends. The number of years of increasing dividends is 0.
Wow. Well, then why the hell are we looking at it? Who came up with this one? Whose idea was this? Oh, I know who's... Yeah, okay, never mind. It was someone in the chat that was asking about it. Okay. I forget who it was. I'll remember in a minute. It was Mikey. Anyway, Jason, would you rather sell at the money or a few strikes above to have a better chance of keeping it? Hey, Jason, I'm not really looking... Mikey G. Yeah, Mikey G did it. That's okay, Mikey G. So, Jason, this answer is for you. I don't do this for stocks that I want to continually rotate, jump in, jump out, jump in, jump out. If it's a good company, I'll hold on to it, and if it gives me a nice premium every single week, I'm not just looking for the dividend. Okay, I'm looking for a combination of the three. Okay, the combination of the three would be, the increase in stock value, that's one. The dividend, that's two. And 3 would be the premium I collect. So between the premium, the dividend, and stock appreciation, any one of those three, I'm just looking at 1% every week. Okay, 1% is really not that difficult when you start throwing options in there. And an option that I'm doing, the stock doesn't have to move at all. That's the nice part I like about it. Because if I buy VFC at $12.55 and I sell it to someone else at $12.50 between now and next Friday, and the stock doesn't move at all and stays at $12.55, well, I will get all my money back, because remember, I'm selling the 12 and I'm picking up whatever premium that is. So once you add the premium to the stock price, I'm walking away with a profit, and the profit that I'm walking away with is 1% or more. Or I don't do it, because there's too many other companies out there that do fit every single week. Okay, now every single week we do check, usually on Sunday night, we check to see how many dividend stocks are in the stock market, because every week they add, every week they subtract. So this year, this week is 10,040, I think it's 43 or 46, one or the other, but 10,043 different companies available. So which one is it that I'm looking to do? So it's always going to be a numbers game. Do I like the company? Am I willing to hold on to it? You know, those kind of questions. Let's see what kind of questions we have here. All right, so Jason, the question, would you rather sell at the money or a few strikes above with the better chance of keeping it? I don't want to keep it. I want to keep the money revolving, rotating, working, continue getting me 1% a week. Okay, Gurdeepnet. Gurdeepnet wants to take a look at UNH. Is that Universal Healthcare? UNH. Universal Health Group. Okay, see this one, I don't trade stocks over $300, actually over $250. This one's at 300. Okay, so somebody wants to take a look at it, fine. Okay, the high of the year, 633. The low of the year, 250. A year ago, we're at 504. We topped out the beginning of November. Then for some strange reason, just right around tax season, right on tax day, this baby drops from 607 all the way down to 244. I bet you that hurt. I bet you it did. For a lot of people, it's like, ouch. So now here we are, finds the bottom right there, bounces up. Now we've been going sideways for the last 3 weeks. There's no real direction with UNH. I mean, it just had a big pullback. Profit taking, I don't know what you want to call it, but it was a big one. All right. 9-cent dividend next week on VFC. Cool beans. Broken English. Good evening. How are you? Eric Enbridge, ENB. Wait a second. Isn't Enbridge that company has no dividends? And that's a no. Look at it. It's at the high of the year. And it's a monthly. No and no. Sorry. Eric SW. Safety Dude Gen X. The Safety Dude Gen X. Cool, brother. What is the best advice you can give someone who is just getting into stock investing? Practice, practice, practice. Research, research, research. And paper trade. Do not put real money into this little game until you're good at the monopoly scenario. That means practice with fake money. They actually have almost every major, brokerage has a paper trading account to allow you to practice certain strategies before you put real money into it. I'm not quite sure the tea's going to help tonight. All right. Nisha, are you saying hi, or you want me to take a look at Hawaiian Electric, HI? Safety Dude, you got it. Gen X. We Gen Xers got to stick together, brother. ALB. Wampa wants to take a look at ALB. Now, I like Able Mile. Ooh, check that out. The high, the low, where was it? Where is it? Look at the motion. Down, up, down, up. Here we are right now at 59.70. So if the stock is currently at 59.70 and it looks good, more than likely it's going to be the 60s. That would be the good strike price. Cheryl Ann, good evening. David D, what's going on? All right, so let's take a look at Albemarle. The 60s for this week, 96. That's 1.5%. Next week's 60s is 190. That's 3%. Well, the numbers alone are intriguing. You get 1.5% for this week, only 2 days left. And next week, you can get 190, which is about 3%. Well, that's nice. I'd be even tempted to do a 59 this week and walk away with 1%. All right, anyway, let's see what we're doing here. Okay, so a year ago was the high of the year for Albemarle, 120.50. The bottom of the year was just a couple of weeks ago, 49.06. So this thing goes from 120 to 49. Well, that's more than a 50% drop. Okay, so remember I tell you, when you're buying stock, when you're getting in, if you think the stock you're going to buy might go down, well, of course it's going to go down. It's got two ways to go, up or down, one or the other. The best we can do is pick it at a time where it's bouncing off of a bottom. Because people are funny. They like systematics. They like routines. The stock drops, we buy it low, and when it goes up, we sell it high. It's actually that simple. So if you see a stock that you like, okay, if it's coming down, wait for it to hit the bottom, turn around, go back up before you jump in. And then when it does go up, don't be greedy. Take your profit and say thank you very much and share the wealth. Okay, I'm only looking for 1 or 2%. That's it. Okay, if a stock's going to go up 8, 9, 10%, fine. Let someone else have some. I got mine. Okay. Giuseppe. Also, I've really found joy in TKO holding. It holds a large economic moat in its industry. Okay, Giuseppe, not a stock I would buy, but you and I are looking for two different things. How do I feel about IPO? I looked at the prospectus, and it's a very intriguing company. Okay, so Giuseppe, I only do companies that have 2 decades of consistent profitability. Now, IPOs and companies that are less than 20 years old are a young man's game. And I realize that. Once you retire, your whole outlook on life changes. Okay, so I don't have the luxury of being wrong. Okay, which means I don't do IPOs and I don't do stocks that are risky. If it has profitability to it, at least 2 decades, my first covered call, ALB, expires Friday. It's currently 8% above the strike. Should I roll it? Well, Charles, that is going to depend on what do the numbers look like. Okay, when you're rolling forward, you got to buy back this week's option and then sell next week's option and hopefully have enough profit there to make it enticing. Because sometimes when you try to roll it forward, sometimes you have to pay to roll it forward, or you get a very small percentage, which is not really worth it at that point. So it's always going to be a numbers game on what it is you're looking for. So let's get back to Albemarle and finish this one up. Okay, so Albemarle bottoms out with a more than 50% drop. Okay, from there, we've been going sideways. But look at the motion. The motion or the flow, however, whatever you want to call it, you just can't deny it's there because it's there. Here's the bottom. It shoots up, pulls back. Shoots up, pulls back. Shoots up, pulls back, shoots up. Well, here we are now on the trend going up. The high is just below 64. So there's a lot of space there to keep going. And it could keep going if it follows the current trend. Up, down, up, down, up, down. That's all they do. They go up, they go down. That's it. So the question is, do I like Albemarle enough to jump on the pony now and do the 60s? Thoughts on Yield Max? Okay, NS. I've looked at Yield Max before. You really got to check out the numbers. Like, what is the book value? What is the revenue per share coming in on a consistent basis? Is it increasing? Drew Skyba. No, it's Abel Marl. ALBEMARLE. Abel Marl. Alrighty. Should I buy CRWV? Never heard of it. Christopher Elford, silver or gold. Now, Christopher, I don't do hard currencies, and I don't do futures or, what's that other one? Commodities. So gold and silver is a commodity. As I know of it at this moment in time, commodity contracts have expiration dates. Stocks don't. I can buy a stock now and hand it to my grandson when he gets married at 35. Well, that's 30 years away. And if the company's still available, well, it'll be there. But I can write a covered call every single week for the next 30 years because he's 5 years old now. If he gets it on his wedding day at 35, it's 30 years of income coming in every single week. Well, you can't get that with gold and silver. A bar of gold sitting on your desk, all it's going to do is collect dust and be a very heavy, very expensive paperweight. Other than that, it's a great storage of wealth. It's not for wealth accumulation because it stores the wealth. So if you bought $1 million worth of gold today, well, in 10, 15 years, that $1 million worth of gold is going to actually increase in value, whereas $1 million would be worth less because of inflation and depreciation, all that kind of crap. Anyway, so Abelmal actually doesn't look that bad at 60 for this week, if you like Abelmal. And that's what it always comes down to. All right, so we're at 10 o'clock. We've got an hour and a half left to go. Now, I remember last week saying we are going to pick 4 or 5 stocks every week and then give a progress report on how they worked out. Well, the 5 stocks that we picked this week, at the beginning of this week, are as follows. Ford, which when we started, it was a 2.48%, which I probably should have wrote the numbers down. But we'll take a look at it, though. Ford, Apple, United Airlines, CVS, and Humana. Those are the 5 that you guys picked out at the beginning of the week. So let's take a look at them. Okay, the first one is Ford. What did Ford look like on Monday? Interesting. Okay, a year ago, Ford's at 12.14. The high of the year, 14.85, and that was in the middle of July. In the beginning of August, she drops down to 9.50. But look at the bottom right here. Well, here's the bottom of the year, 8.43. I know kids in a high school that can afford $8.43 to own a share of Ford Motor Company. Well, why not? All right, so 8.46, the last 30 days. Here's our last 30 days. Well, what does it look like? Okay, up, down, up. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're not going to cheat. We're going to take a look at the opening price of the day on Monday. Okay, so the opening price on Monday, okay, today's Wednesday, yesterday was Tuesday, here's Monday. The opening price on Monday was 10.27. Well, we're currently at 10.24. The stock's not really moving anywhere. But if we bought it at 10.27, more than likely we're going to do the $10 option. Okay, great. Well, where's the $10 option at the moment? Well, now the $10 option is worth 29 cents. Okay, fine. But what is that going to mean between tomorrow and Friday? Well, at that point, we see is it worthy of rolling into the next week? Do we pick up a little bit more money on it? So maybe next week we'll probably write the numbers down a little bit better than we did this week. Because this week we just wrote the stocks and what the returns were. And we'll see how they play out. Okay, so Ford actually looks like a good deal for this week. Because if we jumped in Monday morning at 10:27, we would have most likely done the 10s or the 1050s. Well, whatever the rate of return is, which we calculated on Sunday, was 2.48 for Ford. 2.48. Well, that's not bad at all. All right, so Ford is looking pretty good for the play this week. So next one we took a look at was Apple. Okay, a year ago, Apple was at 195. The top for Apple at the beginning of the year was 260. Now from 260 down to 170, that's a $90 drop. Now a $90 drop, well, that's a pretty big drop. Look at what we're looking at here. This is the last 2 months. Okay, down, up, down, up, down, up. So it's definitely going to the upside. Now remember, we're going by the numbers without cheating, okay, the opening price on Monday. What was the opening price on Monday? 200. So at the 200 mark on Monday, we were looking at a 2%. Okay. Well, more than likely, looks like this thing's going to be called away and we get all our money back. Because if I bought it at 200 on Monday and I did the $200 call option, well, as long as the stock's above 200 come Friday, I get all my money back plus whatever that premium was. And that was 2%. Whatever it was 2%. Because I wrote down what the percentage was that we would have made on. I didn't write down any fill numbers. But that's Apple. So far, it's 2 for 2. So next one we're going to look at CVS. CVS. Okay. A year ago, CVS was at 59.83. Well, the bottom of the year, 43.49. Okay. Well, the top of the year was just a couple of weeks ago. Okay, and that was the 1st of May. And the high was 75.51. Okay, so we're looking at the opening price on Monday. And then we're going to correspond that with the closest strike price that we probably would have bought. So Monday, the stock opened up at 63.51. So more than likely, the 63.51, we would have gotten the 64. Okay, and that would have been 1.7%. Okay, so we got a 2.5, a 2.7, now a 1.7. Those are the three we're looking at so far. And this is perfect also, because if I bought it at 63.51, I would have done the 64s. So as long as this is above 64 from Friday, okay, we'll be back into all cash. There's a possibility we might not hit 64 on CVS. So we'll take a look at it and see what happens. 2 more to go. UAL. Now UAL, United Airlines, had a profit of 3.3% as of Sunday. All right, so high, low is, look at the motion. Down, up, down, up. Simple, right? Okay, let's zoom in to the last 30 days because that's what we're looking at. Okay, here's the bottom, 63.23, shoots up nicely, pulls back. Look at where we are on Monday, right here. So let's see what that price was on Monday. So United Airlines, 78.93 was the opening price. So at 78.93, we're more than likely to do the 79s. So as long as the stock is above 79 come Friday, we would have made 3.3%. Well, that's pretty good on United Airlines. We got one more to go, I think. One more to go. Humana. H-U-M. Okay. So here's Humana. The high, the low, where was it? Where is it? Look at this. Up, down, sideways. That's basically what that thing did. Okay, a year ago, Humana's at 360. Okay, we hit a high at 407. And we hit a bottom just recently, 212.45. Okay, well, look at Monday. Okay, Monday right here, 3 days higher. Okay, fine. What did we open up on Monday? 232.32. Would you believe they have a 232.50? So more than likely we would have done the 232.50s. Okay. Well, as long as she's above 232.50, well, everything works out fine. Okay, let's keep on going. Don't lose until you sell. Okay, that's almost complete. ZW, it is close to being a complete thought. You never lose any money until you sell at a loss. All right, so what do we have over here? Okay, do I trade ODTE? No, I don't. 3 Ghost wants to take a look at Chevron, CVX. CVX. We'll take a gander at it. BMB Chud. Adrian, explain your friend group. Our friend group. I have no idea what that means. What's up, man? I trade futures indexes professionally. Mostly NQ. Okay. What's your background in trading or finance? I like to call it the road less traveled. You know, you keep losing, you keep making mistakes until you learn what not to do anymore. And then if you're successfully trading after that, well, fine. I already made my mistakes 15, 20 years ago. So I don't really make mistakes anymore because I've already learned from all those mistakes. But I like where you're going with that. No, I don't trade futures. I don't want to sit in front of the computer all day. I do a simple 5 or 10 minute trading strategy, covered calls with dividend stocks only at a specific time. And it works out very nicely for me. Blue Veracity, how are you today? Could you show a rollover? Club Med Tom, hold that thought for a second. Hey man, just wanted to let you know Jesus loves you. Thank you. Silver is about to melt upwards. Thank you, Hugh. Okay, Ghost, Pan American Silver, we looked at it a while ago, so no. Cypher, how can you watch a chart when they pump that crap whenever they want? Look at look at GME. No, I don't do GameStop, sorry. Hugh, glad you find it humorous. Look at GameStop gaps. I don't do GameStop. I already told you that. GameStop, AMC, and I like meme coins. Yep, don't do those either. So let's keep on keeping on. Only insiders in FOMO going on with them. Okay. Don't get me wrong, though. The entire market is manipulated, but charting definitely works if you understand it. John Warner wants to take a look at NEE. Isn't that Nucor? Let's check it out. Nucor, NEE. NEE. Well, that's Nextera. Nucor's NU. All right. So here we go. Here's our high. Here's our low. Here's where we were. Here's where we are. Look at the motion. Down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, fine. Where are we? We're in a little bit of an uptrend right here. But how does it look? So let's zoom in and see, is it even worthy of us taking a look deeper? Okay. She shoots up, pulls back, shoots up again, got all this space here. So yeah, there is that possibility. But what happened today? Today we had a little bit of a pullback. Is that going to stall things? I don't know. It might be a good idea to keep an eye on it tomorrow before jumping in, unless, of course, you already own it. But let's take a look. 69.88, we'll be looking at the 70s, and the 70s are going for 57 to 69 for this week. Now, next week, 141 to 170. That's close to 2%. Well, alrighty then. Alrighty. Pro tip, no SL. I have no idea what SL means, but that's okay. How's your hedge fund coming along? Kent, it's coming along very slowly, okay, because I got to work and get the I's dotted and T's crossed before I can move to the next phase. So the next phase is actually getting the paperwork for the fund, which is the got to get the attorney together to do the, what do they call that again? Hold on a second. It's a prospectus. I'll figure it out in a minute, but it's coming along slowly. That's awesome. Thanks, Kent. I get 1% consecutively, but I'm new. Alrighty. LUE, also known as centrist energy. Are we too late? Hold on to that thought. Hold on to that thought. Okay, so Nextera is a possibility if you like Nextera. And it always comes to that question. Do I like this company? Do I like this company at this current price, which is $69.88? How long are you going to hold on to it? We don't know, because we don't know what's happening next. All we can go on is it a company that I like and I'm willing to hold on to? Well, that's a good question. Techum Summon. Up 400% on a call, a 17,127. Alrighty then. Core Wave, never heard of it. Fab wants to take a look at Macy's. We'll take a look at it in a minute. Hold on a second. What else do we have here? Do you sometimes sell protective collar? No, I don't. Oh my goodness. Okay, Cypher, thank you. Invested in Apple and Tesla and Nvidia. Outstanding. CRWMU, that's Micron. Can we look at AVAX, please? It's been such a disappointment. Well, Apple user, AVAX doesn't fit what it is I'm doing. AVAX. Okay, you see that? It's not even showing up. Is it a US stock, or is it a European stock, or a Canadian stock? It's not going to show up here, because this is US stocks. Next, Jacob, Sam, no one, 651, how you doing? Brian, hello from Barbados. Cool beans from Barbados. How's things going over there? I'm new here, and may I ask how long on average you hold each stock? You don't buy and sell each week, do you? Nope, not at all. So who was that? That was Larry. Okay, so Larry, I buy a good quality stock when it's low and working its way up. Because if you take a good look at any chart at all, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, you can follow a stock and watch it as it moves. If it makes sense, great. If it doesn't make sense, well then don't. Okay, here's the high here. It drops. That's the time to buy when it drops. If you follow a stock, you get intimate and you get to know what it normally does. Well, this is AT&T. It went up, it came back, up, down, up. Now she came down here. Now we're waiting for it to hit a bottom before it turns around and goes back up again. Well, what is so hard about looking at it tomorrow? Now, today is a new bottom. Let me zoom into it a little closer. Okay, this one over here is going to drop off pretty soon, and this is going to be the new 30-day bottom eventually. Okay, but yesterday she closed. Today she was a little bit lower than yesterday. So yeah, it's still going down. At some point, it's going to stop going down, turn around, and it'll go back up again. Because that's all stocks do. They go up, they go down, they go up, they go down, and that's about it. So that being said, if you like AT&T, keep your eye on it. When you're ready to jump in, when it's ready to move back up, that's the time to jump in. Now, I'm not giving advice. It's like common sense and logic. If that's all they do, go up, down, well, if that's all they do, well, when it comes down, hits that bottom, turns around to go back up again, well, shouldn't that be where you buy it? And then as she gets to the certain top, isn't that where you should sell it? Well, you got to figure out where's a good entry place and a good exit place. For me, as soon as she finds the bottom, okay, 2 days to the upside, on the third day, I will jump in. Because you don't know when it hits a bottom, how many days is it going to go up? Well, after the third day, that's where I feel confident that that's the bottom and it's going to continue. 1 day, 2 days, that doesn't work for me. It's not enough data. Okay? Cole wants to look at APLD. APLD. Is that applied something? Yeah, applied digital. Hell no. Okay, wasn't I just saying I don't buy at the high 30 days ago? We're down here at $4. Then she jumps up to 13, and you think I want to jump in? If you're saying you like this and you're bragging that you jumped in and then you got out, yeah, hey, great, awesome. It happens once in a while. But this is not something I want to jump into. Now, normally, if I was a gambling man, I'd buy some puts at that price. Because as soon as it's going to be profit taking, because a couple weeks ago, we're at $3. Now we're at 13. So from 3 to 13, that's over 300% increase. So yeah, there is going to be profit taking somewhere. 300% increase, sure. All depends on what you want to do. Where do you want to be? Okay. Now, I don't like doing trades like this on stocks like this because it's too much volatility. I like boring stocks that barely move. Okay, they move about maybe $1 or $2 a month. That's about it. Boring because they're consistent. And with consistency, I can get profitability. Well, that works for me. All right, let's keep on keeping on. That's APLD. Axel, EVTL. What the heck is EVTL? EVTL. It's a no is what it is. There it is. Okay, sorry, Axel. I only do... Interesting. Take a look. High, low. Where was it? Where is it? Look at up, down. What's going on here? Whew. Oh, that was a good one. So we're currently at 229. That's the current price right now. So if I'm going to buy it at 229, what's a safe bet? Well, more than likely the 230s. For this week, it's going for 90. That's no. Next week, the 230s are going for 258. Well, there's my 1% right there. Why not? If I like Lowe's at this current price. Because as you can see, Lowe's had a high at almost 290 and a low at 210. It's an $80 difference. Okay, so let's check it out. A year ago, we're at 216. Okay, we jumped up to 287. We dropped all the way down to 205, and that was in the beginning of April. Okay, but look at it. Doesn't that look pretty? Here's your bottom, here's your top. She pulls back. Now she's going back up again. She's got plenty of space to go. Look at the last 30 days. Last 30 days. Okay, down, up, down, up. 30-day high, 30-day bottom. Now she's going to the upside. It's actually pretty plain to see. Once you get past the fact that, hey, I'm an adult, that's not the way we do things. Well, this was created for a 9-year-old. Simple, safe, predictable. It's not that difficult. Where's the high? It's right there. Where's the low? It's right there. Where was it? It was over there. Now it's over here. Well, what did it do? It went down, it went up, it went down, it went up. That's all stocks do. They don't come to your house and make you dinner. They don't take the dog out for a walk. They don't stop by on a Saturday morning, vacuum out the back seat, and give the car a good wash. Stocks go up, stocks go down. That's it. That's all. They don't do anything else. That's it. That's all. Okay? So, do I like Lowe's at 230? Well, why not? Why wouldn't I? It's a dividend king. They have increased their dividends for more than 5 decades. So why is it not on your list? So just because it's on your list, when is the right time to buy it? It goes up, it goes down. It goes up, it goes down. When is the right time? For me, I like to jump in on a Monday morning, do a covered call. It's simple, it's safe, it's effective, it's profitable, and you can do it in your IRA. There are a lot of trades you cannot do in an IRA. But a covered call, you can, because it's supposed to be one of the safest trading strategies there is. So as long as you don't hit the wrong button, sell instead of buy instead of sell, getting the terminology incorrect, you should be fine. Should be fine. Now, don't think you are better than everybody else and that eventually you're not going to hit the wrong button at one point in time. Everyone does it. Okay? It's like, do you remember, do you remember in The Matrix when he tried to jump from one building to the next building? He said, don't worry about it. Everybody falls in the first time. Everybody falls in the first time. So here, everybody hits the wrong button at some point. It's just the way the game is played. Okay. 10 stone, no direction. Why the long sleeve under the short sleeve? That's like tube socks with shorts. Well, I'm cold. There's your answer. I'm cold. That's why the long sleeve shirt under the short sleeve shirt. All right, let's keep on keeping on. Sorry, I missed Coles. Hamza London. Hi, I wanted information. I got new strategy. I tried, and it's working. I never lose. I don't understand. Okay, that's a good thing, isn't it? Hamza. Brian. Missed a massive drop in TSLL because I couldn't get my limit order filled. Any techniques to ensure I get in on the action without a market order? Nope. See, the interesting thing between a market order and a limit order. A market order, they are required to fill it instantaneously at the market, right here, right now. That's it. That's a market order. A limit order is you tiptoeing in and saying, excuse me, this is how much I want. That's it. Excuse me, this is how much I want. So how motivated do you think the market maker is going to be? Because a limit order is a limit order for a reason. This is what I want. Okay? Me, I always do market orders getting in, but selling a covered call, selling options on something I already own, I'll do a limit order. Because if I'm rolling it from one week into another, I know what I want and that's it. That's it and that's all. But you have to remember, limit orders, they are not required to fill them. They're not. They can choose whether or not they want to fill them. So if the stock is going up and you have a low limit order, they don't have to fill it if they don't want to. Okay, remember, the market makers are there to make money, not to make you happy. Okay, because if you take a look, this is Lowe's. 2.3 million shares traded today. So you're not the only person on the dance floor. A limit order saying, hey, this is what I want. They don't have to give it to you. Sometimes, I've done limit orders that sat on the desk, sat on my computer all day long and never filled. All right, that being said, la, 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 la. Mohammed, I am from Egypt. I went to the Emirates to look for work. I ran out of money and have been sleeping in the streets for 4 months without food. Please help me. Yeah, you got a cell phone. You're doing pretty good. You are a person I have the utmost respect and appreciate, sir. Thank you, I think. Yeah. All righty. Luke, good evening. Rustan, hello, James. When you opening covered calls, Monday or Friday? Usually Monday. Michael, DJT doesn't have dividends on it. Luke, Tesla and Nvidia both have no dividends. And you're right, they are nuts. Look at the book value. Look at the cash flow. I don't like either one of them. All right, Larry, you're welcome. Hamza, I wanted to know how come with new strategies trading. I never lose. Close it. Does it mean I understand the market? No, it doesn't mean that at all. What's the price of gold? Don't know, don't care. Can you talk about XRP futures? Okay, Alejandro, you ready? XRP futures. Let's talk about them. There we did. We already did it. We got it. We done. Good. Alrighty. There you go. I just talked about it. I don't do XRP. It don't have dividends. No. OKLO. Zhang Fu. Okay, now, didn't we look at OKLO a while back? OKLO. Okay. LO. All right, I'm going to say no, only for the reason. Now, I don't know anything about this stock, okay? There are certain stocks I trade consistently over and over and over again. Some I have no clue because they don't fit. Now, I don't know if this fits or not, but I'm just going to give you a quick look. 30 days ago, we're here at 20. Then we jumped up to 60. 20 to 60. That's a 200% increase. So a couple of weeks ago, 20 bucks. Now we're at 60. That's a 200% increase. This baby's coming down. There'll be some profit taken. No. Sorry. The numbers just don't look right because that is a big jump. And there's not enough profit taken to satisfy all of that right there. Silas. Why the long? Okay, I already did that. Silas, Home Depot. Home Depot. Interesting. So let's take a look at the numbers on Home Depot. Here's the high. Here's the low. Here's where it was. Here's where it is. Look at the motion. Up, down, up. Simplified. Okay, it is in an upward trend in the last, the last few months. Well, look at the numbers. What can I buy Home Depot for? 372. Well, we already know it's out of my price range. It's not out of my price range. I just don't like stocks above 250 because I can get the same rate of return on a $30 stock. Anyway, 373.90. 373.94. Because the C372.50s, that's almost $2 out of it, and that's zero. That ain't gonna work. That one really ain't gonna work either. So the 375 is going for 280. So the numbers here for Home Depot, it's not gonna be 1%. So for me, it's just no, thank you. And I don't even have to look at the chart. See, the numbers themselves, there are too many other companies that do pay 1% or more. Nodsgnal wants to take a look at Target TGT. Okay. Now, Target is also a dividend king. What does that mean? That means they've increased their dividends for 5 decades or more. So it is on my list. So let's take a gander. Here's the high, 170. Here's the bottom, 90. That's almost a 50% drop. Okay, it was at 150, now it's at 93. So she went sideways, drop, up, down, sideways. So we're at 93 at the moment, 93, 94. So the closest strike price is going to be the 94. Well, this week, it's going for 96, which is right at 1%. Next week's, the 94s are going for 192. Well, that's 2%. So you get your choice. Do I do 1% for this week? Or do I do 2% for next week? Well, either way, it's still 2% a week. 2%. But 1% a week. 1% this week, 1% next week. So it's still 1% a week. Okay, fine. But do you like Target? That's the big one. Look at the trading range. Okay, we're between 140 and 160 last year. And now we're between 90 and 100 this year. Well, let's take a gander. Okay, here's your last 30 days. Okay, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. it's actually that easy to see. Okay, adults have a tendency to make it more complicated than it needs to be. Now, is that the right direction it's going? Well, based on the movement over the last couple of weeks, this is the last 30 days. Well, this is the movement. Up, down, up, down, up. Okay, is it going to continue that? We don't know. But here's the thing. Do you like Target? Okay, we know it offers weekly options. Okay, and the weekly options on Target are well over 1%. So we know it fits everywhere. It's just that very last question. Do I like Target at this price? That's a good question. New Jersey wants to take a look at Mara. Mara. Okay, Mara, here we go. Interesting. Lovely. Look at it. High, low is, look at the motion. Up, down, up, down, up, down. What's going on here? 1564, the 1650s. Sorry, the 1550s, which is going for 39, or the 16s, which are going for 18. So this week, either one of these is going to work. Now, the 1550 is the safer trade, okay, and the 16 is the more profitable trade. That's for this week. Well, the same thing for next week. The 1550s, 70 cents. That's nice. The 16s, 48. That's over 3%. Well, this is Mara. Do you like Mara? Now, I already own some, so I like it. Okay, but do I know exactly where it is in comparison to what I already own? No, don't know that off the top of my head. I got to look at the charts. I have to look at my account to see if it is right. But anyway, take a look at the last 30 days. Okay, here's your 30-day bottom. Here's your 30-day top. Here's the bottom right here. Okay, in a couple of days, these are going to drop off, and this is going to be the new 30-day bottom. You have 1 day up, 2 days up, but you still have plenty of space to go up higher. Once we get rid of those, look at what we're looking at now. Okay, up, down, now she's going back up again. It all depends on what you're focusing on. Well, the big question is, do I like this company? Am I willing to hold on to it? So if you don't know who Mara is, why would you buy it? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. If you don't understand the company, why would you buy it? And you'd be surprised at some of the stuff you guys ask me to take a look at. I think to myself, what the hell were you thinking? Seriously. All right, so let's take a look. What are we looking at next? Trading. Giovanni. Okay. How to decide between rolling your option or just letting yourself be called away. Larry, it's always going to be a numbers game. Now, the numbers usually don't change. There's a few numbers that change, but most of the big numbers don't change. The biggest number you need to concern yourself with is, what did I buy it for? That's the first question. What did I buy it for? Number two is, did I sell a covered call against it? And if so, which one was that? What did I collect? Great. Well, where is the stock now? Where's that option at now? Now we know what we bought it for. We know what we got on the premium. Well, where is it now? That's the next question. Is it higher or lower? Is it going up or is it going down? Then, on Friday afternoon, we got to think, right? What is the best play to get me from here, Friday, into Monday without losing any money and keeping the profits coming in every week? That's a question that can only answer on Friday. What time frame you use looking at charts? I look at the 1 year, I look at the 90-day, I look at the 30-day, and then I look at the seasonality. So Push wants to look at TEM. I have no idea what TEM is. Is that Tempur-Pedic? Tempest. Never heard of it. Now, there's got to be a reason why I've never heard of this. What is it? Well, I don't know. Well, let's go to Yahoo Finance and find out. Now, I tell people all the time, if you're going to be playing in the stock market, you need access. You need access to a financial website that will give you information that you can't find on the brokerage account. Okay, so here's Tempest AI. This is why I don't have no idea who it is. There's no dividends. So the question I have, who came up with TEM? Now I can't find out who the hell did it. Oh, TEM, push. Okay, so push, here you go. I don't do these stocks. If it has no dividends, why would I buy it? Okay, there's 10,036 different companies. I don't buy companies unless they're consistently profitable, at least 2 decades worth of positive cash increase year after year after year after year. Well, a dividend stock, you can just look at the dividend. If they continually increase, you know they're continually making money, because a dividend is a portion of the company's profits that they give back. So if that keeps increasing, well, the profit's got to keep increasing, because you can't give out more money than you make. So TEM, I have no idea who they are, and they're going to be a no. Okay, Brooklyn wants to take a look at Caterpillar. I love Caterpillar. Love me some Caterpillar. High, low. Where was it? Where is it? Look at this. Up, down, up. 349. Well, the 350 is going to be the closest. This week's 350 is going for 260. No. Next week's 350 is going for 460. That's almost 1.5%. So I'm going to say, yeah, I like 1.5%, especially on Caterpillar. Well, let's check the numbers. A year ago, 326. The high of the year in the beginning of November last year, that was 419. Okay, so from 419, she finds a bottom right here on the 7th of April, 267. So 267 is the bottom of the year. Check this out. Nice upward climb and then going sideways for the last couple of weeks. So let's zoom in to the last 30 days. Here's your last 30 days. 30-day bottom, 30-day top, pulls back, goes back up, back down, back up. No real distinct direction. It looks like it's kind of going sideways. But it is what it is. For the last 3 or 4 weeks, it's between 340 and 355. So maybe it's just going to continue there. But that's a question that you need to ask yourself. Is it worth buying it at 349? Hey, Z, thank you for that. All right, next. Dividend talk only. Haphazard, how are you today? Okay, Shady wants to take a look at advanced micro devices, and I don't know why. Go over to Yahoo Finance and see what kind of dividends advanced micro devices has. Okay, you check this out. Advanced micro devices last had a dividend in 1995. Okay, so that's going to be a no for me. Okay, that's 30 years ago. Oh, Haphazard wants to take a look at Casey. All right, take a look at Casey. Would you do an example of whether it's best to roll over Mara or let the option expire on Friday? Okay, so Mark, I need to know what you jumped into Mara at in order to be able to give a good idea of whether or not to roll it on Friday or just to let it go on Friday. Because without knowing where you jumped in and what you sold, doesn't really give me enough information to figure out what could be the best option if I were to do it. haphazard, AMD is a tech stock. Also, AMD has no dividends, so AMD is going to be a no. Haphazard wants to take a look at Casey. C-A-S-Y, Casey. So Yahoo Finance with Casey, 448. You've got to be joking. Are you? Who came up with Casey? Haphazard? Are you kidding me? Seriously? Do you see this number right here? 0.46. That's not even 0.5%. You're investing your money, and you're getting 0.46. That's not even 0.5% for the year. This is the part where I say, what the hell are you thinking? Seriously. You can say whatever you want. Seriously, you can. But those numbers don't lie. Okay, the stock is $438 a share. Okay? It has a dividend of $2. $2 on a $400 stock. A $400 stock should have a $4 option. Sorry, a $4 dividend every 90 days. That's my humble opinion. This is horrible. And I haven't even looked at everything. Okay? So let's go and take a look at historical data. Okay? If they have a 0.46, which is less than 0.5% dividend, well, let's see how consistently they've increased their dividends. Well, at least they have one. Okay? Dividends only. Now, if you guys have no idea what I'm doing, I'm here in the data stream, where all the data is stored. Okay, has the date, the opening price, the high price of the day, the low price of the day, the close of the day, and the volume. That's all the information you need to know about the stock. What did it open at? What was the high? What was the low? That's the data stream. Every single day this stock trades will be here in this information. But I want to look at the dividends only. Because the dividend is a portion of the profits that the company gives back to their investors. So if the company is consistently profitable, well, that dividend is going to slowly increase year after year after year. In the absolute worst case scenario, you end up buying a stock that continuously gives you more money year after year after year. All right, dividends only. All the dividends they have, all the way back to 1983. Are you kidding me? I want to go back just to 2005. Because at 2005, that makes it 20 years, 2 decades, 20 years. So let's see if they consistently increase. So in 2005, it was 4 cents. Then it went to 4.5, 5, 6.5. 7.5, 8.5, $1. I'm sorry, 8.5, 10, 13, 15, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 29, 32, 34, 35, 38, 43, 5. Holy cow, that increases every single year. Okay, it increases every single year. But the yield is horrible. 0.04% of a million is better than 20% of 50. Haphazard, you're absolutely right. Okay? But 0.5% is still horrible. Tell me your experiences. What is better, business or trading? Trading. Hello, just got on. Lisa M., good evening, good evening. Did we look at PAS? PAAS? No, we haven't. Alejandro, would you be down to read the XRP chat and tell if it's going up or down? Why? I don't do XRP, and it's totally irrelevant what I think of it. TSM, Taiwan Semiconductors. Cool. All right, so anyway, the dividends are consistently increasing. They're crappy, but they're consistently increasing. All right, so let's take a look at Casey. Why not? CASY. Oh, that's why. It's a monthly. Yeah, no, sorry. Well, that's why I don't do Casey. Even though they've consistently increased their dividends. They're crappy, but they've at least increased them. All right, thoughts on Misty. Same thing. The dividends just ain't there. Dividend Kings, they will get together. Maybe they will. What about math? Dive Bandit, how are you? Why do you like Mara? It does not have dividends. Lisa, because sometimes I buy stocks that are on Warren Buffett's list. Remember the 5 list? Kings, aristocrats, champions, contenders, Buffett. Those are the 5 lists I like. And Mara was on Warren Buffett's list. Uh-oh. BMY. What's HYY? Is HYY an actual company? HYY? Heister? No, it's not. BMY is Bristol Myers Squibb. We looked at that one the other day. Okay? Here's the high, here's the low, here's where it was, here's where it is. Look at the motion. Down, up, down, up. Easy. 47.95. Well, we'll be looking at the 48s or the 49s. Well, what do they look like? Well, the 48 for this week is 42. Not really. Next week, the 48 is 38 to 101. So that's a weird one. How can the 48 be more this week than next week? That doesn't make sense. It should be a lot higher. But I don't like it when the market maker does that. Is what it is. But I do like Bristol Myers Squibb. So a year ago, we're at 41.77. The bottom of the year was the beginning of August? No, July. The high of the year, 63.50, was in the middle of March. But look at your last 30 days. Here's your last 30 days. Down, up, down, up. Now it's coming back down again. Sorry. It's coming down. It's coming down. Yes, in and out. Is that chart available for public? Yeah. Well, this here is Think or Swim, which you can download it for free and use it for a while. But eventually you would have to call Charles Schwab because they're the one that owns it. They'll let you use it. Mark, could you explain a roll over us let option expire of Mara? I have it at 1580, so the covered call 1550. All right, hold that thought. Let's pull up Mara. M-A-R-A. So you said you jumped in. 1580. That would have been last week, because it wasn't at 1580 this week. 1580. Okay, so you jumped in at 1580. You sold the covered call for 1550. Well, what did you collect as a premium on that 1550 and letting it go this weekend? Did you make the money off of it? If not, what is the value rolling it forward into next week? Which means if you buy back this week's option and sell a next week's option, what does that look like? A $15.80 stock, you're looking at, was that a 15-cent dividend? 15-cent premium. That's about it. And right now, the 1550s for next week are going for 70, which is over 1%. So my guess would be the 1550s here is 40. If you buy it back at 41 and you sell next week's at 30, you're still walking away with 30 cents. And 30 cents on a $15 stock is 2%. If you could do 2% every single week, that's over 100%. It's doubling your money every year. If I roll, you'll get 29 cents per contract. No. It's not 29 cents per contract. It's 29 cents per share, or $29 per contract. But it's a $15 stock. Well, look at this. Yay! Okay, it's a $15 stock. If you roll it next week and you get 29 cents per share, that's tiny bit below 2% per week. That's over 1%, dude. Okay, 1% a week is still what? But I still sell in the money. Yeah, so every week you roll it forward. Now, the interesting thing, Mark, is when you roll it forward, what you're missing, okay, is the break-even number. The break-even number is, if I buy it at $15.65, that's what I paid for it. Now, if I sell it at $15.50 for next week, someone's paying me 70 cents a share just for the privilege to buy it at $15.50. So what is that person's break-even number? Well, you add the 70 cents to the $15.50, you're looking at $16.20. $16.20 just for them to break even. So if the stock's at $15.55, well, that's not going to break even. It has to be, was it $16.20 for them to break even. So just because it's in the money, whoever bought the option, they have a break-even amount that they have to go over, because it doesn't make sense to buy a stock for less than what you can, for more than what you can buy it for in the open market. So it's always going to be about the numbers. What did you buy it for? What did you sell it for? What's it at now? What do those numbers look like? This is why you were supposed to pay attention in math class. Okay? Junior high school math class. That's basically what we're doing. Junior high math. Simple. Next. Okay. Edgar, how you doing? Edgar, thank you. Mark, if I roll over $15.50 and the stock goes to 19, I will lose money when I sell. Oh boy. Mark, you cannot have both. You cannot do covered calls for cash flow and stock appreciation. You can't do both of them. It's one or the other. Go for the capital appreciation if that's what you're looking for. If not, go for the cash flow. You have to be okay with buying it at $15.50, selling a $15.50 covered call, bringing in 1 or 2%. If it goes up to 19, for whoever bought that, good for them. What nights are you on? Neo, I'm on Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I take Friday night off, and I take Saturday night off. What are the 5 lists you look at? Well, good evening to you, Yessie. The 5 list: Dividend Kings, Dividend Aristocrats, Dividend Champions, Dividend Contenders, Warren Buffett's list. TK, my nephew bought $70,000 worth of Misty. Is he crazy? Well, he's your nephew. Okay, he's a lot younger than I am. Okay, that's just my guess. Okay, now if he has $70,000 he wants to put on Misty, more power to him. You know, can you explain covered calls a little more? Haphazard, you've been here for a while. Surprised you're asking that. Okay, haphazard. How to execute? Let me see if I can explain it first. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, you have an old car in your backyard. You push it out front. You're 27 years old. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's say you have an old car in your backyard. Let's say it's an old Prius. Whatever. You push it out in the front lawn. You put a for sale sign on it, $5,000. Okay, that's your stock. That's your asset. That's what you own. $5,000 is the price that you want. So let's say Tommy down the street comes by and says, hey, I like your car. Let me give you $500. Hold it for me until Friday. If I come by on Friday, I will give you the $5,000. Just take this money as a holding fee. You're just going to hold it for me. If he comes back on Friday, he'll give you the $5,000. You get your money back. Great. If he doesn't come back on Friday, you keep that money and then you turn around and sell the car to someone else the following week. So when you're doing on stocks, it's the same thing. I buy the stock first, then I turn around and put a for sale sign on it. Someone pays me. Great. They have between when they give me that money and the expiration date, 6 June, this Friday, 13 June, next Friday, 20 June, 2 Fridays away, 3 Fridays away, 4 Fridays away, whatever date you decide. You decide price, and you decide date. That's terms, price and terms. You need 4 things to make a contract valid. Beginning date, ending date, price, and terms. Okay, consideration, price, money, and terms, meeting of the minds. We're both agreeing on what we're doing here, each knowing what the other is going to do. That's called a meeting of the minds. 4 things. Beginning date, ending date, consideration, money, and meeting of the minds. BCE, Eric. What the heck is BCE? BCE. It's a no is what BC is. Okay, haphazard. How trustworthy is Tommy? I have no idea who Tommy is. 86 is in the house. Aaron, thank you. Okay, OCK Cult, BMY, we already looked at it. And Aha Films, I don't do AI. Lisa, why do you like Mara? It does not have dividends, and it's only been around 14 years. Yeah, Lisa, I know, but Lisa, do you remember the part where I say I have 5 lists? Kings, aristocrats, champions, contenders, Warren Buffett's list. Mara was on Warren Buffett's list. If it's good enough for Warren, good enough for me. Thank you, Aaron. Vasiva. In intraday terms, what time frame would you give your absolute trust to the confirmation? I don't do intraday trading. That's just something I don't do. Valuable stream, a first-time viewer. Thank Max. Max Mathur. Covered call ETFs, yay or nay. Ivan, how are you doing today? Now, I love covered calls. Some ETFs, okay. Some, not so much. It's always going to be about the numbers, Ivan. Do you like that ETF? Is it worth buying in the first place? Do they allow weekly options? Because some ETFs don't allow weekly options. Some do, some don't. TK, I should have clarified my nephew is looking for high dividends in Misty, but I think he's going to get hit. Unfortunately, TK, you can't keep someone from learning. And if they're going to learn the hard way, that's pretty much the hard way. You never know. Misty could be profitable for him. You just don't know. I don't buy it because the numbers just don't work for me. TK with dividend bleed like crazy. Yeah, I'm aware of that. Ivan, thank you. I love the harvest ones, but not the yield max. Okay. Now, Ivan, I'm always looking for a good rate of return. I really am. But a lot of ETFs have monthly options only. And for me, that's not enough. Because if I'm getting the same rate of return on a weekly as a monthly, well, monthly I can only do 12 times. And 12 times, well, we know 12 times is not as good as 52. You know what I mean? TK, fair enough. Thoughts on Ida Corp? Okay, TikTok, Tommy, I have no idea who Ida Corp is. Okay, I only do companies that are consistently profitable, and most of them I know off the top of my head. Aha Films, Pepsi. Let's take a look at Pepsi. Golden Pause, good evening. Koran, good evening. Mindset, good evening. FRN, good evening. Bear. Pepsi. We haven't looked at Pepsi, and we've been watching it, waiting for it to find that bottom. It just hasn't come around. Much appreciated. Big fan. Thank you, Dakota. TikTok Tommy, 14-year dividends. No idea what that means. Oh, Ida Corp, 14 years of dividends. Okay. But are they consistently increasing every single year? William, good evening. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and finance logic. Oh, I like that one, William. Thank you. Have a great night. All right, so we're going to take a look at Pepsi. Now, we've been watching Pepsi for the past couple of weeks. We're looking for the bottom. Could that be it right there? I don't know. Here's the high. Here's the low. Here's where it was. Here's where it is. Look at the motion. Down, up, down, up, down. Now it's going sideways. Well, let's zoom in a little closer. What exactly is that? Well, a year ago, Pepsi's at 171. And she hit a high of the year in the beginning of August at 181. Here's our last 30 days. Okay, 30-day high, 30-day bottom. That's definitely going to the upside. Do you like Pepsi? It's 30 days ago. 30 days ago is the high. Okay, here on the 24th, I think it was. Now she's going up. It's currently at 131.74. So the closest one is going to be the 132. So the 132 for this week's 50 cents. No. The 132 for next week is 99 to 106. No. As much as I like the company and it's in an upward trend, well, the numbers just don't work for me. Sorry. William, thank you. Okay, got it. Jimmy Bean. What's happening, Jimmy Bean? Okay, haphazard. Okay, I'm going to have to disagree with you. 30 days, we're at 134. The bottom of the 30-day period, we're at 127. Okay, that's the bottom right there, 127. We're currently at 131. So I don't know how you can say from 127 bottom to 137, 131, that's an upward trend at the moment. Yeah, haphazard, I get it. Okay, you're looking at the whole year. Terribly sorry, but the whole year has nothing to do with the last couple of weeks. I only want to jump in on Monday, jump out on Friday. Where's it going to be in 5 days? Well, in 5 days, looks like it might be 132 or 133. That's what I'm looking at. I don't care what it was a year ago. That doesn't do me any good today. I don't live in the past. I live in the present. The present, well, here's the present right here. Okay, now the present is highly dictated or highly influenced by yesterday, the day before, the day before, the day before. Well, that is the bottom here. Now she's going up. So if I jump in on Monday, get out on Friday, I make my little profit, well, it went down, found the bottom, now it's going back up again. You're going to make your money in the stock market buying at the low and selling at the high. Well, the low of the year was 2 weeks ago. Okay? Look at that. A year ago, we're at 170. The high, 180. Okay? The bottom was 2 weeks ago. It went down. Now, stocks are going to go down until they're done going down. It's just plain and simple. And when they hit the bottom last week, or 2 weeks ago, then they turn around and go back up again. Because that's all they do. Take a close look. Zoom in. Down, up. Down, up. Down, up. Down, up. Down, up. That's all they do. Week after week after week after week. Yeah, a year ago it was at 180. And a couple of weeks ago it was at 130. So, where's it going now? That's my only concern. It's Pepsi. They've been around for 100 years. It's Pepsi. They are Dividend King. 5 decades of increased profits. It's Pepsi, that's the number 2 soft drink on the planet. So, it's the bottom a couple of weeks ago. Downward trend? Yeah, until it's done. The trend had officially ended right there. Now it's going back up again. That's all stocks do. They go up until they're done going up. And when they're done going up, what do? They turn around and go down until they're done going down. It's simple. Look, it went down, it stopped going down, it turned around and went up. And then it stopped going up, it turned around and went down. and then it stopped going down and it turned around and went back up. That's all it does. Down, up, down, up. Find good companies. Buy them when the time is right. Take your profits, say thank you kindly, and move on to the next one. I love Pepsi. I love Coca-Cola. I love a lot of companies. Eric, Pepsi premium too low. Yes, I'm aware it's too low. I was just having a conversation with someone who said it's in a downturn when it's not. Downturn's done. It's on its way up now. But if you like Pepsi, that's the question. And yes, the premium is a little on the low side. Because if I'm buying it at $1.32, I want to get at least $1.30 for the premium. But the premium on the 132s is only 99 cents. So I'm going to say no to Pepsi, even though I like the company. I love the company. It's just the numbers don't always work out right. Boom, 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 boom. All righty, so I have more questions over here on YouTube. You like that, Eric? Cool beans. Math is hugely undercooked. Okay, thank you, Bandit. AMD, we already looked at it. SPY, SPX, ODT. Unfortunately, I'm going to say no to those because you got to sit in front of your computer if you want to do that kind of stuff. I have no desire to do that. AHA Films. Archer has not been around for 20 years. Okay, AHA Films. O Realty, it's a monthly, not a weekly. VC, what the heck is VC? Take a look at that. Haphazard thoughts on Coca-Cola. Now, you think Pepsi's not good? You think Coca-Cola is going to be any better? 71.37. The 72's 42 cents. Okay, Coca-Cola is a great company, but they're offering a little over 0.5%. Now, a little over 0.5% will give you about a 30% return for the year if you believe in Coca-Cola. I don't do Coca-Cola, and very rarely do I do Pepsi. If the numbers work, I'll do them. But if they don't, next. There's over 10,000 different companies. Next. There's only 300 on my list, so it is what it is. All right, let's keep on keeping on. Studio. Hi, sir. Can you be a voice actor for my TV series, Annabelle Comes Home? Well, I don't see why not. I'm not very good at reading. You know, I shoot from the hip. Trade to travel. Mr. James, SPY or SPX, ODT. Okay, so I already told you I don't do ODT. Okay? 0 DT. DTE. Yeah, I don't do that because I have to sit in front of the computer and I'd prefer not to. FADA, copper. Now, copper is a futures or commodity. Yeah, I don't do those. Thoughts on RL. What the heck is RL? Oh, Ralph Lauren. Oh, no. Sorry, haphazard. Ralph Lauren is a monthly. Don't do monthlies. Eric Schlumberger, SLB, another dividend king. Gotta love it. Let's check it out. Here's the high. Here's the low. Here's where it was. Here's where it is. Look at the motion. Up, down, sideways, down, sideways. We're sitting at 33.24. So look at the 33s or the 33.50s. What do we got? The 33s for this week, 50 cents. Nice. The 33.50s for this week, 24.28. Not so nice. Next week, the 33s go 71. Nice. The 33.50s, 58. Okay, not bad. Either one's over 1%. Why not? Haphazard, yes, sir. Oh, Bandit wants to take a look at peanut butter and raspberry. Okay. Okay, haphazard, dude, you've been here long enough. You really have. Okay? You've been here long enough to know I don't do stocks that have monthlies. And remember rule 1? Rule 1 is never buy something you don't know and you don't understand. So don't be pawning off on something that you know doesn't fit. You know, oh, Realty has monthlies and it's going to be a no. So I'm not even going to look at it. Now, Bandit, you want to take a look at peanut butter and raspberry, huh? PBR. We're going to say no this week until it finds a new bottom. Do you see that? 30-day bottom, 30-day top. Now we're looking for a new 30-day bottom. It's here somewhere. It may be, this may be it here. The only way we're going to find out is, what does tomorrow have? What does Friday have? Is it going to turn around, and is this the time to buy it? So I'm going to write this one down for next week, because as soon as it finds that bottom, I'm in on that one. PBR. PBR. King's Kid, good evening. It's hard to find weeklies. Haphazard, no it ain't. Okay, haphazard. Okay, for those of you interested in weekly options, you ready? CBOE.com. Chicago Board of Options Exchange. CBOE.com. They will tell you who has weeklies, who has monthlies. That's where the Chicago Board of Options, that's where options are traded in Chicago. CBOE.com. Tell you exactly who has the weeklies. Okay. This is horrible. Sorry about that, dude. Serve Robotics. Okay. What is Delta is the best for opening a covered call? Uh-oh. Rustan, hold that thought for a second. Haphazard. Thoughts on V? Nope. That was quick, wasn't it? Look at it. It's at the high of the year. No. Randolph, you eat Snickers candy bars upside down because you want to feel those. Interesting. Random username. Interesting. Silas, we already looked at Home Depot. Tony, how you doing? Lady Foss, good evening. How are you today? Lord Detroit, what's going on? Dirt Digger, back in the house. Melina, good evening. Yep, you almost got me. That was a good one. That's a no, Edgar. All right, so let's keep on going here. Yosef, hello, hello. Good evening, good evening. Cheesecake, yeah, no. Cheesecake Factory has not been around for 20 years. Haphazard, Procter & Gamble. Ooh, gotta love Procter & Gamble. They've been in business for over 100 years. They're going to be a no this week. Okay, see that? 30-day bottom, 30-day top. Now she's coming down. Don't get me wrong, I love Procter & Gamble, I do. But let the profit take place. Keep an eye on it. 2 weeks from today? Let's write it down for 2 weeks from today. Not next week. 2 weeks from today. Bandit wants to take a look at Dow. D-O-W. D-O-W. Do it now. Dow. Ooh, take a look at that. That's interesting. The high, the low, where was it? Where is it? Look at the motion. Down, up, down, up. Well, this looks interesting right here. Because remember we said making the most money in the stock market is buying low. Well, the low of the year for Dow was 2 months ago, April. Okay, she went up a little bit, came back down, but look at that. 57.50 is the high, 25 is the bottom. That's a 50% drop. Can you imagine that? 50% drop. And we're thinking of jumping in here in the $25 area. Well, let's zoom in a little closer and take a good look at this. The high of the year, 57.47. Well, look at the bottom. The bottom's right there on the 8th of April. That's the bottom of the year. Then she shot up. Now she's pulled back down. Now we're starting to move back up again. Because once it hits a 30-day high, it starts your profit taking. People start taking profits, stocks drop until it's done dropping and then turns around and goes back up again. Well, is this the right time to jump into Dow? Don't know. Tomorrow we'll take a look at it. It might look good. Are they sustainable? Well, Dow Chemical has been around for over 100 years. Ooh, 86 chiming in with a Marvell. M-R-V-L. Marvell. Ooh, nice pick. Check that out. The high, the low, where was it? Where is it? Look at the motion. Down, up, down, up. Here we are right here, 66.30. So we'll be looking at the 66 or the 67 because it's at 66.15. So the 66 this week is 144. That's over 2%. Can you imagine that? 2% for 2 days? So if I buy it right now at 66.15 on tomorrow morning, and then I sell it to someone, the 66s, I'm picking up 144. And if it stays above 66 on Friday, I get all my money back and I get to keep this profit. Let's see what that one looks like, because that one looks kind of interesting. Okay, a year ago, 66.87. The high of the year was in January at 127. Well, the bottom right there on the 7th, that's 47.09. Well, look at the last 30 days. I don't know. I just don't know. Because the 30-day chart looks totally different. Okay, we're at 62, dropped down to 54, shot up to 67, came back down to 60, back up to 68, back down to 59, back up to 66. Could it keep going? Yeah, it could. But look at the motion. Down, up, down, up, down, up. Now, it's not going to go much higher until it reaches the same 30-day high that they had last week. Can it surpass it? That's a tough call on Marvel. You got to really like the company. But if you buy it at 66, okay, 66.14 tomorrow morning, and you sell this week's 66s, hypothetically, you can get 2% for this week alone. Let's try one. For the fun of it. For the fun of it. All right, let's go here. Let's do covered call. Let's do the 66 right there. One contract, 66 at the market at the opening of the day. Here's Johnny. Buy one covered call Marvel 100. That's the weeklies. 6 June 25. That means this option here is going to expire this coming Friday. The $66 call option against Marvel stock at the market to open to open. Well, the current price is $66.02. 130 is the profit. 6,400 is the investment. Let's see what that looks like. 130 is the profit. Divided by is 64.70. That's the investment, and that comes to 2%. That is just for this week. So we could get to Friday and roll it into next week. So pick up 2% this week, roll it next week, and maybe pick up another 2%. Well, that's 4% in 2 weeks. Well, that's pretty good, if you ask me. But it's always going to come back to that big, huge question, the big elephant in the room. Do I like Marvel at this current price? Am I willing to hold on to it? That's a big question. Couple of questions. Lisa, Mara does not have any dividends. However, it's only 40 years old. Yep, I got that. AMD has been around since 1969. Yes, they don't have any dividends, but they are a company that is not going anywhere. Okay, Lisa, I understand exactly what you're saying, but the reason I do Mara and I don't do AMD is Mara is on Warren Buffett's list. AMD is not. Okay? So if it's good enough for Warren Buffett, I will do it. If it's not on Warren Buffett's list and it doesn't have dividends, then most likely I won't do it. It's always about the numbers, and it's always a detail somewhere here and there. If it's good enough for Warren Buffett, it's good enough for me. That's just the way I look at it. Okay, Laura, Roku, I don't think they've been around for 20 years. Haphazard's right. Okay, Marvel is good for tech, but not for dividends. I get you. I do. But he was asking about it, so I was answering the question. And Mara Oh, and Marvel. I forget what Marvel. Was Marvel on? I don't think Marvel was on Warren Buffett's list. I gotta learn how to use that damn thing. I got one of those sound boards with all those dials and numbers and stuff. And I got the 2 microphones. Yeah. The microphone's like, hello, hello. They're not hooked up yet because I have no idea how to do it. 39 reseller. How you doing? Tony, how are you? How are you? All right, so let's go back to here. Can we look at CLF? CLF doesn't have weekly options. Mara was on Warren Buffett's list. I don't know if it's on there still. They are keeping SPY propped up. Could very well be. All right. Don't. Okay, Scott R. Energy transfer. I don't like energy transfer, and let me explain to you why. All right, so we're going to go to here. We're going to go to here, and then we're going to put energy transfer right into here, ET. Now, who came up with ET? Scott. Okay, Scott, so here's energy transfer. Now, Scott, the reason I don't like energy transfer are the numbers right here. At the money, 1872, okay? The 18s are going for 3 cents. The 1850s are going for 0. Down here, the 18s are going for 8 cents. Not quite 1%. Okay, the 1850s are going for 3 cents. Not even close to 0.5%. So, as we used to do energy transfer years ago, but then for some strange reason, the premiums dropped to the crap level. So it's not worth it for me to do ET. Even though it may be a great stock and might have great movement to it. The money that they're giving me for doing a covered call. Concerned citizen. Cliff does have weekly options. Yeah, I'm aware it does. But let's see what Cliff doesn't have. Okay. So let's go to Yahoo Finance. And we're going to put in, what is it, CLF? CLF. And we'll check out what the dividends look like. Okay. So there's got to be a reason why I don't do CLF. 2.5, 5, 6, 3. They decreased the dividend by 50% right here. It's a 50% decrease. 6.2, 6.2, 8, 4, another 50% decrease. Then it went to 8, then another 50% decrease. Then it went to 8, then it went to 14, to 28, to 62. Then it went to 15. So 62 to 15 is a 60% decrease. Then 15, 15, 15. Then to 5, another 60% decrease. So no, I don't do this one, CLF, because the numbers are absolutely horrible, in my humble opinion. Okay, I don't like horrible numbers. So you may like CLF, I don't. And we're only on 2014. Look at, there's no 2015, no 2016, no 2017, no 2018. And then they skipped a bunch of years, and then they cut the dividends by 60%. Yeah, no. Sorry. Okay, New Jersey, 78. We already did Riot earlier today. All right, let's go over here. American Airlines has to be on your list. I bet you love it. Well, let's take a look. I don't know. Is American Airlines on my list? I don't know. AAL. Interesting. High, low. Where was it? Where is it? Look at this. Down, up, down, up, down. 1145. The 1150s. 13 for this week. Nice. 1150s next week. 28. That's over 2%. So I can get 1% this week, and I can get 2% next week, one or the other. It's still 1% a week. That's what I'm looking for. So do I like American Airlines? I don't know. Does it make sense? Okay, the high of the year back in January 1921. The bottom of the year, the beginning of April, 850. Well, look at the motion from the bottom. Jumps up, pulls back. Now she's just going sideways, but look at here. That's 2 days to the upside. Let's zoom in for the 30 days right there. Here's our 30 days. Here's the bottom, here's the top, pulls back, back up, back down. 1, 2 days to the upside. So American Airlines may be, if you like American Airlines. But then you got to check, how are the dividends? Are they consistently profitable? All right, that's the last one we're going to look at tonight. I'm just going to answer up some questions, and then that will be the evening. All right, so what do we have? Everybody needs to learn about Bitcoin and divest. Bada, thank you for that. I'm going to sleep better just knowing that. Aha Films, Texas Instruments, gotta love it. Lisa, okay, thank you so much for answering the Mara question. I'm so sorry for I keep bugging you about it. I'm just trying to understand, and I forgot about Buffett. Lisa, not a problem. That's what we're here for. Saeed Malik, what advice would you give to a 19-year-old who is stuck in their life? When you are dropping your new course, I don't know. We were working on it the other day, and we didn't get very far on it. We got the major outline. That's about it. But we're working on it. I'm here every night. You're welcome. So, Saeed Malik, you don't like your life? Change it. It's actually that simple. To change your life takes 1/10 of a second to make the change. Living with the change takes a lot longer. That's the tough part. Because you live your life day by day just by doing what you normally do. But to change, it takes 1/10 of a second. That's it. But living with that change, it's like, all right, I'm not going to smoke anymore. Well, it takes 1/10 of a second to make that up. But it takes a lifetime to live with it. I'm going to exercise every day. Well, it takes 1/10 of a second to make that decision. A lifetime to live with the decision. So if you're not happy with your life, change it. And then live with whatever decision you make it. All right? Queen reads tarot. Hi, I'm very new to trading. Can you give me a suggestion on which company I should use for trading, like Robinhood and etc.? I'm really new to trade in the stock market. Well, Queen reads tarot. Good evening and welcome. I say if that's what you want, you can go to YouTube and do some research. What is the best trading platform for my strategy? And whatever strategy you want. Now, I do use Robinhood and I do use Thinkorswim, which is through Charles Schwab. So I use Robinhood and Charles Schwab because Robinhood gives me ease of use on my phone, and I take it with me everywhere. But I don't trade my big accounts on Robinhood because Robinhood is a little bit different than Thinkorswim. Thinkorswim gives me a little bit more perks. Aha Films wants to take a look at Estee Lauder. I love Estee Lauder. We'll write it down and take a look at it tomorrow. Now, we bought Estee Lauder last year when they had that big dip. Ooh, that was a good one. Good move. All right, so let's keep going. We're past 11:30. I'm just going to answer the questions, whatever questions we have left. Trade to Travel. Hello, Ahmad. Good afternoon. You like Bill Gates? No, I do not. Donald Duck. Hey, bro. Quick question. Can you join my... Yeah, interesting. He's giving off toucan vibes. Andrew, I have no idea what that means. Jesus Christ used to fall in love. Okay. All right. Anyway. Phil Collins. I need to double up my 600. Alrighty then. Lisa. Sorry for asking so many questions. I get sometimes infuriated with one thing and I can't get it off my mind. Ooh, that could be a good thing. I don't know. Ida Corp is Ida Power Company based in Idaho. Alrighty, it's not on my list, so no for me. Eric, QQQ has daily options, but the premiums are meh. Yeah, but take a look at QQQ and see what the numbers look like. How consistently profitable are they? Do they consistently increase the dividends they give back to the shareholders? What is their current yield? Are they currently profitable this year or are they not? What's the seasonality on Pepsi? Ooh, Jamar, you're the first person to ask that question tonight. Bro, I'm only 16 years old and I am start trading. Please give me an answer. Okay, Techno Gamer, I can't legally talk to you. You're not even supposed to be here. So me, an adult, talking to a 16-year-old, that is a no-no. Sorry, dude. Can't help you out. Okay, first and foremost, if you're underage and you want advice, well, you shouldn't be online asking for advice from adults. You should ask your parents about those scenarios. I don't want to get myself in trouble, but you're supposed to be at a certain age in order to be here. All right, what are we looking at next? You look like you eat a lot of peanut butter. I haven't had peanut butter in, oh my God, a couple of months. Peanut jelly and banana, yummy. Okay, what's the seasonality on Pepsi? Pepsi seasonality. Ooh. Just hold on just a little bit longer now, baby. So it looks like seasonality for Pepsi, like another week or two before it hits the bottom for this quarter, and then it moves up for the rest of the quarter. That's what it looks like. Historically, that's what it does. That doesn't mean that's what it's going to do. That's what it normally does. Well, we're not in normal times anymore. You got a new president, one that's shaking things up, and some people just don't like being shaken. So, it's different. What about defense companies? Okay, Rex Lexus. I don't separate my stocks by industry. I only separate them by when do they pay a dividend, and that's it. That's it. Are they consistently profitable? Do they have weekly options? Well, great. What do the numbers look like? What is the chart flow look like? What are the other investors buying and selling? Good night, Tom. I'm going to bed myself. Jersey, can you close your sold call before it expires? Yes, you can. But why would you? Jersey. Good night. I'm on the East Coast and not retired. I'm on the East Coast. I am retired. Eyes are getting heavy. My sight's dim. Had to stop for the night. So there she stood on the tailway. Okay, Rex. Palantir, no. Doesn't have 20 years of increased profits. No. Brian, I love how simple your explanations are. Geez, why do some other people make it so complicated? Well, Brian, the way I look at it, the trading strategy I'm teaching you, I created for my 9-year-old daughter when she was 9. Okay, this was back in 2008. Simple, safe, predictable, consistent, no way for her to lose. That was the strategy. Simple, safe, predictable, consistent, 1% a week is what I'm looking for. So adults have a tendency to want to complicate things because if it sounds too good to be true, it usually is. Well, 1% a week, to some people that sounds like a lot, to other people that doesn't sound like enough. But for me, I'm retired, 1% every week is perfectly fine for me. That's a 50% return. So if I have $100,000, well, 50% of $100,000 is $50,000 a year. And I love the idea of no taxes on Social Security and seniors or people making under $150,000 a year. I love that idea. Let's see how it works. Mark, does my daughter still trade this strategy, and does she make any profit? Okay, you missed the part where when my daughter was 13, she wanted nothing to do with daddy except for use daddy as an ATM. Hate to say it, but that's the way it was. So when she was 9 until when she was 12 or 13, right at that period before it took over, okay, yeah, she was trading very well. I mean, that's what I created this trading strategy for my 9-year-old. But when she turned 13, for those of you with 12 and 13-year-old little girls, you know that daddy's king until he's the devil. Okay, so at 13, daddy was the devil until she was like 23, 24. And she grew out of that phase. Yeah. You women will know when your daughter's at a certain age. Hey, it is what it is. You know, I got 4 or 5 years with her. She was my shadow. We went and did everything together. Because I worked night shift and Mama worked day shift. We had our own business. So I'd spend all day long with my kids. And then at night when everyone was in bed, I'd go to work. Did I invest in Bitcoin in 06? No, Amir, I did not. Sorry. So I got a couple more questions and that's it. What's your opinion on coins? No, I don't do coins. What's your honest opinion on the coin? I don't do coins. Hello, stumbled across you again. I guess I need to subscribe. Rhonda, hello, hello, hello. Jamar, Nike, we looked at Nike a little while ago. Danny, good evening. How we feeling on NRG? Drew, I have no idea who NRG is. You're going to have to ask me tomorrow. Tempest AI is a sleeping giant. Okay. With all due respect, Mr. James, SPY or SPXODTE. Okay, so trade to travel or SPY. Okay, you're not looking at the number. Well, you're doing what you're doing. Totally different than what I'm doing. Okay, I don't want to sit in front of my computer. ODTE or 0 TDE. Well, that means I got to sit in front of my computer. Yeah, no thanks. Do I like crypto? I love the idea of crypto, but it's still a little too new, a little too juvenile, a little too untamed for me. And yeah, I realize I saw Bitcoin go from, you know, where it was it 70,000 a couple of years ago, drop down, go back up. Now it's at a crazy number. Well, great. It's probably going to keep going up. But it doesn't mean I'm going to jump into it because there's no way to safely, predictably, and consistently make money from it without having to sit in front of your computer. And I have no desire to sit in front of the computer. How do you feel? Okay. I answer for you. He doesn't like crypto. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Newbie to your page. Just subscribed. I am Kingdom. Cool beans. What's a double bagger? That's when you double your money. Stop using such phrases. Okay. Hey, man. Any thoughts on ICT? Never heard of it. Robin Hood, the public, has the same options. Okay. Do that again. Okay. VOO and chill or VTI and chill. I don't do either one of those. Okay. Believe 3 and 1. Okay. So if you honestly take a look at VOO and then take a look at VTI and look at the hard numbers, how many years of consistent profitability do they have? How often have they increased their dividends to their shareholders? How many years? Okay. What is their current yield, the rate of return? Do they have weekly options or are they monthly options? Those are a lot of interesting questions that I look at. So I don't like VOO and VTI. Take a look at the numbers and you might change your mind. Might. Maybe you should not risk yourself broadcasting where no restrictions are applied on underage people. Well, see, the funny thing is when I go live, I'm required to fill in a box. Is this appropriate for children under the age of I think I forgot what the age was. And I said, no, this is not meant for children. I checked the box and says, no, it's not meant for children. I can't help it if somebody comes in and lies about it. So if they tell me how old they are, I say, well, hey, I can't talk to you. Now, if someone doesn't mention their age, I don't know. But as soon as they mention their age, oh, hell no. I love kids. I do. I love kids. But I can't take my grandson to a park and have fun the way I used to 20, 30 years ago with my own kids. These people are just freaking weird nowadays. Okay. Buy puts when he says tariffs. Okay, Ace, that's an interesting question. What's your advice on the upcoming tariffs on July 9th, expired date on negotiation? Ooh, that ought to be fun. Love to see what happens there. Stonks, no idea what that means. Ace, Fina, be hella broke. Irving, I have no idea what that means. What about SCHD? You definitely got to look at those numbers, dude. I don't like, me personally, I don't like SCHD. Take a look at how consistently profitable they are, and then come talk to me. There's over 10,000 different companies to invest in. If SCHD is not consistently profitable, why are you putting your money in it? Do I invest into Carnival or Cal? No. How long before you were able to do this full time? It wasn't it wasn't a situation of when could I do it full time. I came down to Florida 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, with the intention of taking my little boat and floating around the Caribbean with someone who changed their mind, who didn't want to go float around the Caribbean with me. So here I am doing this instead. Now, it wasn't, let's get right to the meat and potatoes of the question. How long before? Well, you got to figure out how much money you need on a weekly or monthly basis to live comfortably. Well, most people don't know what that number is. I mean, as an adult, you know what your monthly bills come to. You know what your mortgage is, your insurance, your cable, your telephones, your food bills. You know all those numbers. Well, that's the hard number. What number is that? Is it $3,000 a month, $5,000 a month, $7,000 a month? Once you figure out what you need comfortably to live on, well, you take that number and then you divide it by 52. Well, you have to divide it by, I think it's 52. That's how much you have to bring in on a weekly basis. I think. How do you do it? So if I need $3,000, if I need $4,000 a month, that means I need $1,000 a week. $1,000 a week is $100,000. So if you need $4,000 a month to live comfortably, you need at least $100,000 at 1% every week. Now, if you need $8,000 to live comfortably, you need at least $200,000 giving you 1% every single week. So it depends on how do you want to live, to answer your question. Oh, wow. All right, I'm almost done with these questions. Cool. Okay, a Lego car lever, Carnival Cruise Line. We'll have to take a look at it tomorrow. Steven, did you catch the Fed business and what the IMS 15 minutes after market opened? I was working. Nope. What is the best way to start day trading? I don't day trade, Travis, so I can't answer that question. Mark, $1,000 a week is $52,000. Yes. But if you're getting 1% every single week and you need $1,000 a week to live comfortably, you need at least $100,000. Because 1% a week on $100,000 is $1,000 a week. Okay, that's $52,000 a year at 1% a week. Good plan is at least to learn and stay positive, green, refine from there. Nice one, JC. Okay. What crypto does to people? This guy is only 25. I have no idea who he's talking about. Travis, what is the best way to start day trade? I don't day trade, so I couldn't answer that question. Teleport camera, what crypto does to people? This guy is only 25. I have no idea what that means. I'm not 25, so he's not talking to me. So, Ronald, I wish you the best of luck. I believe luck is a concept created by the weak to explain their failures. Thank you, Ronald. Cash Poppin', good evening. Lego Car Lover, I'm 13 and I have a stock portfolio of 36,000. Good for you. I still can't chat with you. You want to chat with me? Don't tell me how old you are. Not telling you to lie. I'm just saying you're not supposed to be here under the age of 18. So I don't know how you got by, but it is what it is. Can I WhatsApp you? No. Day trading lists is understanding your emotions off loss of aversion. Emotion needs to be controlled. Okay, I got it. How do you find stocks, dividends that line up week to week like your calendar? Okay, 3A Ghost, it's called an EX dividend calendar. You just put the stock in and it automatically puts it where it's going to have its EX dates. You can go to Google, look up EX dividend calendar, and they'll give you a free one. You find there's a lot of them out there. CCL is a penny stock. I have invested 3,000. Okay, when I was 8, now it's at 4,500. Good for you, Michael Anthony. ALLR announced results on phase 2 trials. Okay. Lego car. I made 24% a year at 13 years old. Good for you. Great book to read is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I like that one. Silas, how do we learn your strategy step by step? There's hundreds of videos available online. Either that keeps showing up every night. I teach it every single night. It's the same thing over and over again. I also have maxed out Roth. Okay, thank you. All right. Brandon, need a $25,000 in your account to day trade properly. Football and Roblox fans. I'm 67. Well, good evening to you. Brian, see you tomorrow. Was fun and informative. I learned a lot. All right, Brian, cool beans. Plus, you'll pay more taxes on holding a security for a year. On not holding security. Okay, I'm not really worried about the taxes, Brandon. But okay. Can you be my mentor? Silas? Sure, why not? Okay, so that's it. All the questions? Good. Awesome. All right, that being said, I'm done with all the questions. You guys have a great day. We'll be back again tomorrow night doing the same thing. Now, I'm kind of interested in what those 5 stocks we looked at. Remember, Monday we picked out 5 stocks? Okay, that was Ford, Apple, United Airlines, CVS, and Humana. Okay, we picked them on Monday. We checked them Tuesday. We checked them today. Well, let's see what happens on Thursday and Friday. These are the ones that you guys picked out, not me. All right, so that being said, what time do I start? Maribet, is that right? Maribetti, 9 p.m. every night. All right, you guys have a great day. You guys over here on Zoom, have a great night. See you again tomorrow. Here, you guys have a lovely night. Guys on Instagram, have a lovely night. You guys here on TikTok, have a lovely night. You guys here on YouTube, have a lovely night. And this TikTok channel, you guys have a lovely night too.